I am in an emergency mode. I'm only down to, I have 6 units left. 6 units. But it'll last me 12 hours. I'm going to sleep. And I'll get up. And maybe about, I get up at like 5:30 in the morning. It's like 9:18 right now, so that's less than 12 hours. Assuming I don't bolus, even if I bolus 1 unit, which I doubt that'll happen, I'm going to go in a little while, I'm going to check my blood sugar. But my reservoir will run low. See, I'm wearing my insulin pump right now because that's what I'm going to talk about. Dealing with being diabetic and dealing with insulin pumps. It's just, it's an interesting thing. As I said before, it's a much more convenient thing to have an insulin pump than to have to take injections all the time. But there's always two sides to everything. There's constantly being connected to this machine. This little, even though it's a little machine about the size of, even smaller than a pack of cigarettes, it's very small. And I carry it and it has this little tubing connector. I don't know if you can see the tubing connecting. And it's connected to my body. I've shown it once before in a video. And in fact, I could actually just take it and just show you again how it's connected to me. It's connected to connected to my belly. There it is right there. That's the tubing. And where it's connected. Now tomorrow I have to change this thing, which means I have to move it probably over here. I have to take this thing off of here and move it over there. And that's the key. But I'm going to do that tomorrow. I was going to do it tonight, but I said no. Usually I do it in the morning. You have to stick to a routine when you do this. And I use up a lot of, well, not a lot, but each time I fill this thing, it has like about 100 units of insulin in it. And that's going to last me about 3 days. On average, I will use about maybe 25, 26, sometimes 30 units. It depends. It varies, but usually 100 units will last 3 days. But you have to do this every 3 days. In my case, I have to because basically my pancreas is totally burned out. So I can't, I don't have the option of taking that pill that some people can take. I have to take insulin. I'm insulin dependent. It's been a big change in my life. And I went back to the doctor way back, I said before, back in 2007, after having not gone to the doctor for more than 10 years. And I was losing weight and I was getting sick and, oh God. If you're diabetic, you got to take care of yourself. It's very important. It's important for your health. It's a lot of work. But you have to do it. And once you get in the habit of it, it becomes just, you get used to it. What I do is I try to live as normal a life as I can. And I try to be as normal as I can. But, it's just the way it is. You just have to deal with it. And after a while, it's no big deal for me. Maybe I'm just kind of, blowing smoke, but I have to think positive. I have to think very positive. And I have to always have a positive attitude. I can't let anything get me down. And I can't listen to people talk negative, and I can't, And a lot of times, many people have been very sweet to me. They, people give me a lot of advice and try to help me out. But, most people are not into the understanding the details of how this all works. And I've had to learn a lot of things. I've become a lot smarter and a lot more understanding of medicine than I wanted to be. But it's part of this. It's part of dealing with this disease, this illness, this sickness, if you want to call it that. I don't like to think of myself as being sick. But it's just, it's part of life. It's just dealing with things. So, anyway, that's just one thing, because it's not the only thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about many friends, not just one person, but just everybody. There are a lot of people who like me. I've kind of been referred to as sort of like Mr. Rogers. It's just kind of, I've never been a real big fan of Mr. Rogers, but I used to watch that show in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and I always thought, Mr. Rogers, oh my God. But that's kind of cool, because it's like a person who's very comforting, very reassuring. I like to think I'm that way. I'm very comforting to people. Because I'm that way even off camera, even when I'm not on the camera. I'm very, some people even think I'm overly nice, you know. And I think in some ways people might even compare me to like Pollyanna. If you ever seen the movie Pollyanna, which I've never seen, but I've saw clips of it, you can. There's actually some website that actually, not website, but there's a channel that actually has all the entire movie. But that's where the term comes from, Pollyanna. It's this girl who just hit this, you know, she could see the good in everything. No matter what happened, no matter how bad things were, she could always see the good in things. You know, and I'm kind of like that person. I can always see the good in things. And I think that it has made me a very, you know, happy person to see the good. But you know, I'm very realistic too. I know people do bad things. Look, I used to live in a really rough neighborhood a long time ago growing up where people would commit murders. You know, every year we had at least one murder on our block, just on that one block. One murder. And one time, in fact, there was somebody who was killed in a hallway where we, you know, going up the stairs. My father discovered the body. And some man who had been killed, I guess he must have been he probably owed somebody money, or it might have been some drug deal going bad. And not only did they kill the man, they mutilated his body. They gouged out his eyes, they castrated him and everything. You know, I remember going down the stairs, I didn't see the body, but I saw the blood and stuff. You know, they tried to mop it all up. It was kind of, ugh. I mean, the things were bad. I used to live in a really, really bad neighborhood. And crime was really bad. I think way back, a long time ago, like in the mid-70s, things were actually worse than they are now. As much as people think that we, like, you know, living in tough times, I think things were worse in the past. At least where I used to live. But, you know, that's life. You know, I'm happy for every day I have, and I try to make the most out of it. And I think that's what it comes down to. So, I'm going to upload this video. It's not really about anything. I'm just talking about my insulin pump and all my issues and whatnot. It's just a video about nothing. And it's kind of like what they used to say about the Seinfeld show. The show about nothing. The video about nothing. Okay? That's it.